112 or 212? In today's video, we are exploring the pros and the cons of each for both live and studio applications. Hi, my name is Jonathan. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, I do tutorials, gear reviews, and tips and tricks videos just like this one. So if you enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Now let's get to the video. If you do a quick Google search, you'll notice that there are pages after pages of forums talking about the 112 versus the 212, most of which usually center around live situations. So let's cover the pros and cons of the live situation. Let's start with the pros. So this is not going to be an extensive list by any means. I'm just covering some of the basics. Combo amps are usually lighter and easier to carry around. They usually work well with most gigs that have PA systems. Because of the frequency content of a single speaker, it's usually pretty easy to mix. Another advantage of using a 112 combo is that they don't take much room in your car and they don't take much real estate on a stage. If you like a more compressed sound and you like a lot of early breakup, a 112 combo will do that for you. So here is the list of cons. They don't do so well outdoors. And because of the smaller enclosure, they do tend to sound boxy. And if you're looking for clean headroom, they do tend to break up early. And depending whether you have a closed back or open back cab, usually they don't have a whole lot of bass. And they are super directional, meaning whoever's sitting in front of you will either really enjoy your guitar tone or will really hate you for the whole evening. The other drawback to the amp being so directional is that if you have to move around on stage, it makes it very hard to hear yourself. And now we're going to cover the pros of the 212. It has more low end. It disperses the sound more than the 112, which makes it easier for you to hear yourself as you move around on stage. And you also get more volume. Another advantage is that you can use different speakers and different cabs for different situations. 212s are usually not as bulky as 412 cabs, so it's a really nice compromise. The mids usually sound more open than a 112. And another benefit is that they have more power handling. And here are the cons. That is one more piece of gear for you to bring to the gig. It takes up more room in your car and more real estate on stage. And once mic'd up, it doesn't sound that much different in the PA. It's more of a personal thing for you on stage. Now, for those of you with home studios, if you're wondering whether the 112 or the 212 would be better for you, we're going to go explore the frequency content difference between both the 112 and the 212. We're going to listen for volume differences between the both of them, whether that matters or not. And if you stay until the very end of the video, I'm going to give you a link where you're going to be able to download the raw files and listen to them yourselves, and you be the judge whether one over the other is better for you. Alright, I'm editing the video right now and I realized I forgot to mention two things. Volume and frequency differences. In the room, the 112 doesn't sound as loud as the 212. And in terms of frequency content, the 112 does sound more boxy and doesn't have as much bass. If you own a Vox AC15 and that's an issue for you, click here in the cards. I have a Tone Hacks video, and until you can afford to buy a 212, this might get you by. The 212 in the room obviously disperses the sound way more, and the perceived loudness feels like it might be like about 3 dB more, which is significant. But once you throw a microphone in front of both cabinets, they come across in the recording as being the same amplitude, which is rather surprising. I don't understand the reason behind this, but in the recording, they both come across as being equally loud. As you would expect, the 112 does sound boxy in the recording as well. And the 212 does come across as having way more bass than the 112. Now the surprising part, despite sounding boxy, the 112 is actually the one I prefer in a mix. I don't have to cut any low end, and in terms of frequency content, it fits right where it's supposed to. In solo, I feel like the 212 sounds better, it sounds fuller, but in the mix, I feel like I would have to EQ a lot of frequencies out to make it fit in the mix. Now you might point out that this is not an apples to apples comparison. Both these speakers are voiced differently. So at some point in the future, I'm going to do the exact same comparison with the same speakers. So maybe it's going to be a Greenback in the 112 and the Greenback in the 212. But at some point, I'm going to be making a revision on this video. However, there are some things you can test even though they're not the same speakers. You can test for low-end frequency difference, and you can test for the boxiness of the 112. That will not change even if you have the same speaker in both cabinets. And the perceived loudness difference in the room will remain about the same. So now let's get back to the video. And here's the question of the day. Do you prefer 112s or 212s, and why? Share it with us in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more videos like these. And don't forget to click that bell so whenever I do come out with new content, you'll be notified. As promised, the link to the raw files is in the description below. So after a full day in the studio shooting out the 112 versus the 212, it got me thinking, is there really a need to mic up an amp, bother with mic placement, get the right gain stage, and bother your neighbors, when a plugin can sound just as good and give you even more options and save you time? So I'm curious to know if there's a huge difference between plugins and a real amp in a mix. Could you tell the difference? I'm setting up everything right now to go shoot that video. If you think you can tell the difference between a plugin and a real amp, click on this link and I'll see you in that video. Cheers.